Hey folks, this is Lee Jondra with Powerless Over Cars, one half of the team. Jacob is at work. He's working for our friend over at Alternative Detailing, and so he's not here. So I decided after we came back from vacation and a tremendous show over at the Adirondack Nationals in Lake George that I wanted to start doing more video and things like that and talking to people in a more direct way. So lately it looks like that all we do at Powerless Over Cars is go to shows and take video and pictures. And in the summer, it does feel like that sometimes. But Jacob and I had a great summer. He and I got to go to a lot of shows, a lot of different areas, a lot of different kinds of shows. I love the idea of going to Lake George for the Adirondack Nationals. I like the fact that the show currently, and I know it's not everybody's popular opinion, I like the fact that the show is 1979 and before. But I also like some of the cars that we saw. If you've looked at any of the literally thousands of pictures that I put up and on behalf of Jacob and I, and there's more coming. Today's what, Thursday? So I guess on Friday there's probably another 500 or 600 coming up and things like that, including video. You'll see that I incorporated some of the pictures that my grandchildren take. And Jacob and I, he lives with me and things. He's my 18-year-old grandson. Many of you met him at a lot of the different shows and things like that. He's usually armed with a 35 millimeter camera. He's usually kind of laid back, whereas I'm probably not. So he and I have gone to a lot of different shows, and we've met a lot of great people over the summer and things like that. So I do understand. I think we put up something in the neighborhood of 6,000 pictures and videos related to the Adirondack Nationals. And I can tell you right now, we didn't even touch the surface of the cars. My wife was not doing well when we were there. And unfortunately, that meant that we couldn't get down there as much as we wanted to. I wanted to be able to spend time as it was a family vacation with her. And it wasn't until the end of the week that we were able to devote a little more time to that and things like that. I will tell you on the way home, Jacob and I were talking about buying 455 station wagon from the early 80s, just to have something we carry the whole family in rather than my daily driver, my 2015 Ford Explorer. But we had a great time. We met a lot of people. It was really great to meet some of the people from the Long Island Club, meet some of the people from Banging Gears, Frank, and some of those folks over there that are on the corner in front of Duffy's, if you know the area at all. Ran into a lot of great people while we were at the show, talked a lot of cars and things like that, and just had a super great time. When Jacob and I talked about starting Powerless Over Cars, it was really kind of a joke. You know, it's kind of a 12-step thing. I'm powerless over cars in my life have become unmanageable. One of the things I may start putting up is the myth about, you can have 50 cars and it may not be enough. Those kind of things. But when we started to put it out, we printed up cards, we made some yard signs, we printed up a little bit of merchandise, nothing crazy or anything like that. We do have a lot more ideas with regard to that, but we wanted it to be more than shows. So I reached out to a friend of mine who is a really class A developer, and we began to put together a website and some of the things that we've incorporated. And you're going to see some new stuff go up this week from the show when we went. You're going to see some stuff go up so you can vote on cars. There'll be a section for cars. There'll be 3 different sections, so 12 cars total. You'll be able to vote on the cars and things like that. And I'm sure going forward, we're probably going to do something where we're, not only publish the winners and things like that, but do a little more with that. And so one of the things we did right from the beginning, though, was we made sure that all shows and events that we could get our hands on were published, and we put together some thought process with regard to that. You can put up shows and things like that, but if you want to publish for a club and you want to do more and you want to put a little bit more of money into it, you'll get premium spots. You'll be able to write articles about members of your club, those kind of things, stuff like that. The other part we incorporated, and this took a lot of time, should have been simpler, but whatever, is the ability to be able to sell vehicles. We just sold one today. I just got a call a little while ago that one of the cars online has just sold and things like that. So we want to, without cars, we're nothing. And hence the powerless over cars. But more importantly, to do what we do and want to do, we love pictures, we love shows and things like that, but we want to be more involved in helping that out. A lot of the clubs and a lot of the shows we've been to have been charitable, and they put money to organizations like cancer. The one we were at in Lake George, the honor flights and things like that. There was one my grandson went to over in Rutland, Vermont, and they put money towards scholarships for for the education of young people. Well, I say young people, it probably is more than that, but the ability to go into the auto industry, mechanics, things like that. So there's an opportunity on our website to list cars for sale. It's great if there's a dealer out there and you want to try a bunch of them at one time. We'd love to be able to do that. We even took that into our thought process. Uh, the next part has to do, as I just mentioned, a little bit about car clubs and things like that. We love the car clubs. We have some great car clubs. There's the Euro car that my grandson went to in Rutland, but there's also an organization over there started a long time ago called Rave. And then you have the organization that puts on the Adirondack show and things like that. I mentioned Banging Gears. I mentioned the Long Island Car Club. I've been part of many of those clubs over the years and touch base with them. There's one called Car Nuts. They do a lot of shows throughout the area where I am, but we want to expand. So we're kind of going to be looking for ambassadors and things like that, to represent different areas, different states, something like that. I'm not really totally sure what that looks like. Obviously, it takes money to do what we're doing. We're creating a new app, so you'll be able to see a lot of the things I just talked about: car shows, events. You'll be able to see advertisers and sponsors. You'll be able to see cars for sale. You'll be able to see those things will be available in the app. So you'll be able to see it online, or you'll be able to see it through the app. So I just made a pretty sizable investment in that. We're going to do a lot more with that. And then on the site itself, we have news from the car industries. There's just regular feeds that come in, different things related to cars that I like and stuff like that. If you look at the pictures that went up on our Facebook pages and things like that, you'll see that my grandchildren snuck in a lot of European cars and a lot of Japanese cars, and I'm really cool with it, because if there's something I believe without a younger generation coming up, if we don't have conversations with them, I can love a 1969 muscle car. And my grandson will too, and he takes great pictures of those and he loves them, but he also loves some of these high end, Audis and things like that. So you'll see a lot of his pictures. You'll see a picture that one of my grandkids put up a video of Ford GT going through Lake George the other day. So I want to talk a little bit about the future. One of the things I'm going to be looking for, those of you who know me personally or may have had conversations know that I'm going through some family things related to illness in our family. And it's made things a little difficult. If you look at me, I'm older than most of the cars that are out there on the street by far. I was born in 1955. I'll let you do the math. But I got a lot of things going on. And so, putting aside all those things, I just made some announcements in a couple of my other businesses that I'm limiting myself. I'm putting those things out there. Some of those businesses are going to go for sale, things like that. I just felt like I need to clear the decks. And the one thing that I feel like I can hold on to is the car one. So, Powerless Over Cars is going to continue to go on. And so, with that said, I have a couple more car shows that Jacob and I are going to be attending. One of those car shows is in Franklin County, Massachusetts. It's at the end of the month, 27th. It's an invite-only show, so if you know people that have really cool cars that are exotic cars, when I say exotic, the one out of 150, or a crazy cool Cobra or something of that nature, or a Duesenberg, whatever those things are. My friend Kevin, and Jacob's boss at Alternative Detailing, he's looking at some vehicles for that. So he's got a Woody wagon coming to that. I know he has a couple of friends' cars going into that. But all that to say, that's going to be really kind of my last show that I'm going to go to this year. So I kind of want to work on, and shows are going on all around the country, and I'm totally cognizant of that. So I'm going to be looking for people to get pictures and things like that. But what am I going to be doing on our end? There's a couple of things I thought about while I was away, and I had been pondering one of them for a long, long time in another industry. So I want to start talking about cars. I want to interview. At first, there'll probably be written interviews and things like that. If somebody has a really cool car, like there's a guy over in Lake George called the Lake George Truckster. If you've seen the movie Vacation and you've seen it, just check out his car. The guy has a lot of followers. He's a great guy. You're going to see him promoted more and more at Powerless Over Cars. He reached out to us before I went on vacation, and there's going to be some really cool stuff related to that. Why am I saying that? Because that's the kind of guy I want to interview. So initially, we're going to be doing written interviews. If you have a really cool car, or we see you, we may ask you or invite you. And one of the things I want to do during the winter is put up 2 or 3 pictures of a particular car. Interview, why did you build this car? I want to start digging into some of the history. I'm not going to turn away people who just bought a car, but there's very cool stories out there about people who, inherited a car, bought a car, or they bought back their dad's car from 50 years ago, that kind of thing. And then I'm hoping going forward, it's not going to be me or my grandson probably, but I'm hoping I can find somebody who will actually do interviews, video interviews, audio interviews. We can do the video and we can strip the audio and we can put that in. But the point of it is, I want us to become more interactive. And so we can produce podcasts and things like that. In my other company, I felt like at the beginning of the year that I was going to move that company up to 70% video. And I'm still working on that. We had, as I said, we had some things happen in our family that changed some things, but we're going to work through that, I believe, and make a difference. So if you've gotten this far in this video, if you're a car guy or a car gal, I just want to invite you into what we're doing. I want us, I'm not trying to replace anybody in the industry. I don't expect to put on a car show, a car TV, anything like that. Those things kind of have gone by in my life. I don't expect to do those anytime soon. I will tell you, if we get enough video, I might do a Roku channel, but that's a whole nother thought process. With that said, if you watch this far and you like what we do, I would just ask you to do, what everybody else asks you to do. Share our Facebook posts, share our website, participate in the conversations. We have some cool stuff coming out with another company that I'm partners with in Australia. Those guys do more with some of the more different cars like Lotuses and the English cars and things like that. But all that to say, this is a car place, and so we're going to respect all cars with the possible exception of a Yugo. I'm just kidding a little bit. So I'm going to end this here. I hope that you'll participate with us, and I greatly appreciate you being part of what we do at Powerless Over Cars. Thanks a lot.